Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/Pro Revenge. In today's episode, be sure to pay your IT help. Mess with the dominatrix and you'll cry. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Be sure to pay your IT help. I had been working at a computer repair shop on a commission-based system. We would get PCs in and the techs would not get paid until the repair work was paid for, and if the client did not pay for the work performed, the shop would take possession after a time and resell the equipment. It was not uncommon for the techs to be screwed out of work they had done. To make this job sound even more appealing, the shop owner would throw PCs from his friends and family to fix, which was not paid work. I was looking forward to a pretty big check due to just cranking out the repairs, but I found out that these were all friends of the owners, so I worked for free those 2 weeks. One of the things that we do is pull the HDs and create a complete image of the whole drive for archival protection to be wiped after the job is done. Turns out that the owner of the computer shop and his wife were part of the swingers community and were hosting a small but local swingers site that they ran off of the notebook they brought in for repairs. I grabbed the hard drive and told the owner that he needed to pay me for the work I had done. The owner fired me on the spot. I had grabbed my tools and I walked out the door without realizing I had the HD in my hand. The owner had built a reputation in the small town it was located in for being a good Christian business, and the owner portrayed himself as a pillar of the community. I happened to get the information off the drive, and I was able to get access to his passwords, plus close to 4 terabytes of pics and videos of their swingers website. Waiting on my 3 weeks for the last check, I decided that I would go scorched earth instead of looking for a payout. Step 1: His business. I had some time to look over the labor laws and found out he violated quite a few of them with me. We were treated as contractors, but he took out taxes and SSI which he never paid into the system. The other thing was we were required to clock in like hourly employees, but were paid on commission, so due to the pay structure, many employees were getting well under minimum wage for some weeks. Step 2 is reputation. Having the sign-on information, I decided to do a few interesting things with the company website and their swingers website. I put a link at the bottom of the company webpage where I directed people to the swingers site they ran, and I changed the password authentication to allow everyone into the paid areas of the site. I also took down some of the pixelated pictures of him and his current wife and posted the original pics. It took them about a week to find out about all of this. I also sent out a mass email to everyone on the owner's email list to check out the swingers site. I also gave his ex-wife the drive to help her in her court battle. The fallout. Long-standing contracts had terminated by his clients in droves. The labor board did an investigation and fined him for his rule breaking, and the IRS did an audit where they found further evidence of his crimes. In the end, he lost his business, his kids, his reputation, and his current wife, because he thought he was too much of a big shot to not pay his IT help. Mess with the dominatrix and you'll cry. Alerts: NSFW, mobile, no native English. I work as a cam girl, doing video chats with guys for money. Most of the sessions I have are fetish related, and I work for many small sites. One day I had a guy wanting to be my slave, meaning he wanted me to be a dominatrix and to command him to perform painful and degrading acts on himself. Most of these so-called slaves are actually very softcore in what they are willing to do. Initially he paid for a 1-hour session, and we got along so well he paid for a second hour. At the start of the session, I always set up a safe word, and we talk about turn-ons, limits, and I respect them. It's part of the dom/sub dynamic to build a trustful relationship. I did the session, he seemed happy and so was I. He was indeed very softcore. A month later the site owner messaged me to say that a client contacted him accusing me of fraud, threatening to call the police. He said I blackmailed him to make him send money and never delivered the session. I showed the screenshots of the conversation, so I was off the hook with the site, and they didn't issue a refund, but the guy asked for a chargeback in his credit card company, and I had around $400 deducted from my paycheck. It's important to stress that services of sexual nature have very different billing rules. It's against the terms of service of all the mainstream payment processors such as PayPal, Venmo, Google Pay, etc. You have to own a high-risk merchant account with very high fees, so we use third-party companies that facilitate it for us. Some of them cover these eventual chargebacks, others don't. This one didn't. Fast forward 6 months, I was contacted on Skype by a guy wanting to be my slave for 1 hour. This is not a rare request, so I didn't connected the dots at first. I sent him a link for payment, luckily this time in a site that covered chargebacks. He paid. When he opened his camera, there he was. I never forgot his face and accent because he was very weird. It was the same guy who accused me of fraud and got his money back. I'd have terminated the call right away, but knowing I was protected by chargeback in this other site, I decided to get my revenge, so I pretended I haven't recognized him. Knowing he was softcore but willing to obey, I started to give him tasks that were literally turn-offs for him. I didn't set up a safe word this time. I let it escalate quickly to very hardcore stuff, and used all the mind games to push him to his limits. He went 20 minutes straight, he was crying until he gave up and hung up on me. I even called back a few times and he didn't answer. I clearly stated that his remaining minutes were forfeited because he left the session on his own will. A week later the owner of the site asked for proof of the session, because the client contacted them saying the service wasn't delivered and he wanted a refund. I had everything documented, they pay for the time not for the actions, so whatever happened in the session is at our own discretion. He never got the refund and this site has a chargeback protection, so he didn't get the money back this time. He is blacklisted now and never heard from him again. I hope he left the BDSM world for good.